What is up, YouTube? Welcome to this mid-season finale review and breakdown of Fear the Walking Dead. Now, I'm going to start off just by saying that I think that this season of Fear the Walking Dead so far is better than the current season we have of The Walking Dead, because quite frankly, I think that Fear the Walking Dead started off amazing. The first season of it was really, really good. It was really fresh, really tight. We had a tight cast together, just like the first season of The Walking Dead. However, over time, things get warped. We spend too much time in different places, which, albeit, okay, I know this season did actually spend the whole time in pretty much one location, but it didn't actually feel like it. It felt like this season has absolutely breezed past us, and it is just really fun to watch. And Fear the Walking Dead Season 2, it just had left a lot to be desired. It was a bit dull, boring, it was just ambling along like the walkers in the show. However, this episode, this half of the season, has been absolutely stunning. It's been gripping to watch as we've moved from the army base to the ranch, right up until having Walker, who was our resident bad guy in this. But he wasn't technically a bad guy, as we know the land was sold, but these kids want the land back. So I guess it's fair enough that they actually want their ancestral land back. But I think that having this kind of racism, this nuance of appropriation of culture, of taking over land, like the Native American storyline, it was handled very, very tactfully. It could have easily descended into an absolute mess. However, here, I think they have handled it really, really well, and it makes and shows that the white people were just not really that good of people, which hit a bit home with me, where I was sitting there watching it. I was like, oh no, this is going to go somewhere. But I thought it was really cool. They handled Walker and his group really, really well, and it's interesting, obviously, that Madison's daughter, she had to watch or see the helicopter that got shot down. And it's interesting that they were so incredibly powerful, because really you would have thought that the ranch and the militia would have been incredibly powerful, but alas, they were not. However, this was I'd say it's a fitting 2-hour finale, mid-season finale. I'm not really sure why they decided to do these 2 episodes in one. To be honest, it's a bit odd. They did it with Gotham last season. They ended the season with 2 episodes in one. I'm not really sure why, but alas, they did. Now, a lot of this has come out. Now, I didn't really like Salazar's daughter turning up again. I thought it was really, really convenient. I also don't like the fact that Salazar and Victor are back. I like Victor. I like the fact he's back. But that fire at the end of the last season, to me, it saw the end of him. And it was the end of his story. However, it wasn't, and he's back, and he's a complete badass after being a bit of a melt for the last 2 seasons. But here he is, killing people left, right, and centre. And one part of this, I think, really did kind of suffer. I think that a storyline thread here that suffered was the people at the dam. The dam part of the storyline of this season, I think, hadn't been explored enough, and it hadn't been looked into enough. But I expect that is where we're going to go at the end of this season. So moving on from this, both Walker and the ranch people, they actually need water, don't they? They need water really badly. They made quite a big thing about needing water. Quite apart saying don't waste water, especially when early in the season we had the original home set fire. Well, they said let it burn, don't waste the water. So I expect the dam to be quite a big, big integral part of the show moving forward. And it'll be interesting to see if we can have a alliance between the militia and, of course, the whole thing with the Native Americans. Now, interestingly, we have got Madison turn, and we learn that she killed her father as well. So pretty badass there. And well, I like the fact that Nick waged in and tried to kill, or did actually kill him. So interestingly, I didn't really like the dynamic he had with the other two, the 2 kids on the show. Well, I say kids, the sons there as well. I didn't really like how that actually went forward. I can't see him actually being a kind of, I would say, a follower or whatever, but he's proved that he's not a follower one bit here at all. Now, the daughter I really, really don't like. I can't stand her, to be honest. I think she's such a terrible character. And the fact that she's saying, like, you're cold and that, well, she is, because she's trying to help her kids, which we've shown through bloody out. And surely the apocalypse would have actually hardened her to this fact, but seemingly it absolutely hasn't, which I think is a bit poor on the story writing there. But I'm interested to see where they will go, how the alliances will fall, and how the militia and everyone at the ranch will actually deal with what has happened and where they will move forward, how they will move forward with everything. It's very, very, very much like what Rick and the rest of the group do on the main show, The Walking Dead. They walk in, they be part of the community, then they take over, which was dealt quite well. I believe it was last season there we had, and they mentioned all of this, and they kind of acknowledged that they do this. And are they the bad guys? That's the question. But it seems like they're moving more towards that route. I think they're moving a lot more. And I think that what they could have done, they could have held this out. They could have held this fight out, this whole storyline out, an entire season, but they didn't, which is what makes this season a lot tighter. We actually have some kind of end to a storyline. It seems a lot like what Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. have done. They have the different pods, so they have a different storyline over, say, 3 or 4 episodes, or 5 or 6 episodes, so it's in thirds this season. And what I think is really cool is how they have managed to keep it as engaging, because last season I was contemplating not even watching this season, because it is incredibly hard to watch at sometimes when it just gets a bit dull at times, and I would wish that they moved forward a bit faster, but then you would burn through storylines. So it is a really tough thing to do. However, we have had something which was absolutely monumental in this episode. Now, we've had Victor there, who is arguably one of the best characters, I think, on the show. And we see him go back to his ship, or his boat, or whatever you want to call it. It's kind of weird calling it a ship, I don't know why. Or his yacht, I guess you could call it that. But he gets on the radio and he speaks to a cosmonaut. And it's really interesting because this is the first time, apart from The Walking Dead TS19, that we actually have some sort of contact with people who know what is going on in the outside world. So he speaks to this cosmonaut, and, well, the entire world has gone dark. He knows this, and the showrunner has actually said that this character won't actually be returning, which I think is a real shame. It would have been nice, but it is quite similar to, I don't know if you've watched The Last Man on Earth, we had the main character's brother was a astronaut who was on the spaceship, and that was on the International Space Station, but quite similar storylines, but I guess it would make sense. There would still be astronauts up in space dealing with everything that is going on. So it was really cool actually seeing that. One of my big complaints with the show is the fact that, well, we never learn what's going on outside of this America, this kind of North American area, and it's a real shame that we don't actually learn that. And the thing we got closest to really in that was when they were at the CDC in The Walking Dead, which is one of my favourite episodes, because I loved seeing them after so long out on the streets, and that they got in and they were able to kind of have fun and eat, drink, get drunk and all that. But obviously that didn't happen here. We had Victor drinking his champagne. He thinks everything is okay, but this is why it's done, because now he knows that there's no hope. He knows that, well, it's the same everywhere. He's not going to get on his boat, I don't know, go to a country that's near, but they say Cuba or something, maybe. I'm not really sure. I'm not good on my my geography in America, but maybe sail to Europe, for example, as an extreme example. If he goes to Europe, there's absolutely no hope whatsoever of him actually being able to find somewhere that is actually safe. So that's why that is happening, and he's now in a nihilistic state, so I expect him to be able to use his talents, etc., for actually helping people instead of trying to escape and get somewhere to get to the next location. It definitely seems like we're going to be stuck in this same area. But a fantastic, fantastic finale. Great work. So that is it. Please do drop a like. Please do subscribe. I'll see you soon. Goodbye.